Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the BJJ Foxcast. I am your host, Alex Martinez, and today we have a special guest, Josh Cisneros.
Hey, how you doing?
Josh is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. He is a multiple-time national champion, multiple-time Pan American champion, and multiple-time world champion in various belts in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. Hey, man, we'll get right into it. Just about everybody in the grappling world knows who you are, and if they didn't after they saw the ADCC Trials, now they know who you are. But let's talk a little bit about where you're from and how you got introduced to Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, so I'm from a small town, Selma, California. So not very, very big, but it is pretty big in wrestling. So that's where I first started off, was wrestling. So usually we started off wrestling. My whole family wrestles, so I come from a family who won state champs, stuff like that. I didn't really tend to wrestling as well as they did. And so my dad, he used to train in jiu-jitsu probably in the 2000s when the Gracies came. So when UFC first came out, the Gracies showed up and stuff like that. He trained with them when they opened up their gym in Oxnard, I believe. That he trained with them when he was out there. But so fast forward probably like 20 years. Then there's me.
Yeah.
He always loved jiu-jitsu. He just never really had us train. We mainly just focused on wrestling. He's just like, hey, you guys want to try out some jiu-jitsu? I was like, yeah. And so we go to this city called Visalia, California. It's about 30, 45 minutes away. When we drive out there, and I get do my first class, and I get subbed like 20 times that day. I'm like, dude, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And it's like just a complete opposite of wrestling.
Do you have any video of that? Because I want to watch that.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, it was super, super fun. And I was like, man, I really like this. I want to keep coming. And so we decided to keep going. I think at the time I was 12 years old. I was 12. My older brother, Chris, was there. My younger brother, Jacob. And then my little brother, Caleb, I think he was still a baby, so he didn't really do it. So it was just me, Chris, and Jacob doing it together.
Nice. So your dad was if I'm not mistaken, your dad was a blue belt under Hoist Gracie?
Yes. Yeah, he got his blue under Hoist. But then life hit, and then he just stopped, and he got his job and had to take care of the family. So.
Yeah. How many siblings do you have?
I have 5 brothers.
Wow.
Yeah,
all boys?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, your parents deserve a medal. So, so you started wrestling. Were you wrestling in like junior high, or early on?
I started wrestling like as a kid.
Okay.
So pretty much my entire life, my whole childhood, I'd be wrestling. But it'd be more for just practicing because my older brothers did it. So
yeah,
we
course.
did it. We kind of just went into it as well.
Yeah.
But I stopped around after my freshman year.
Okay.
So I wrestled up, kind of did jiu-jitsu back and forth. And then I was like, I want to wrestle freshman year. Kind of put jiu-jitsu on hold, and then went on to wrestling. Wrestled. I think I wrestled at 106. So
wow.
I cut from like 130 to 106. Wrestled that my freshman year. It was terrible. It was a terrible cut.
That's a hard cut.
It was terrible. It was fun, but it was a terrible.
Yeah.
I was so grumpy. I was so mad. You know how it is when it cuts.
Yeah.
After that, placed 8th at state, and then after that, I was like, fuck wrestling. I was done with wrestling. I was like, forget this. I'm going back to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So that's pretty common, right? When you have a competitive kid that they love jiu-jitsu, they love wrestling. We either lose them when they either get really serious about wrestling and we lose them, or they quit wrestling and come to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So you started out in a kids program, and what was the highest rank you achieved as a kid?
Green belt.
Green belt.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went all the way from white to green. I never got a gray belt. My instructor actually he skipped us on gray, so he promoted us. We skipped gray and went straight from white to yellow.
Wow.
But I believe before there wasn't no gray belt. I think gray belt was added.
Yep.
So by the time we joined, gray belt was just added. But I think he just promoted us kind of traditionally as well. So we went from white to yellow. I think within like 3 months.
Wow. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about your first instructor. Just stuff that I've read about your story has been really interesting because your dad took you specifically to a very competitive school right off the bat. That's what you guys were looking for.
Yeah, like there was one in Selma. There was one in our town, a couple streets down. He called and he's like, hey, are you guys like a competitive gym? The guy's like, we're somewhat, not really. And then my dad was like, oh, okay, thank you. Hung up.
Next, yeah.
Yep. And then he called Tom, the next one, Visalia, about 30, 45 minutes away. Called him, was like, hey, you guys are competitors. Like, oh, yeah, we love competition. We always encourage all our competitors to compete. Like, we want them to compete.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, cool. We'll be there. And then we showed up one day, and then we literally had a schedule like right after school, straight to the gym.
That's awesome.
And it was like, then everything from that point on in our lives revolved around jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and elite team, right? You guys were part of elite team with Tom. So yeah, for those of you that don't know, Tom Knox is, I believe he's a 3-stripe black belt. Maybe 4, maybe 4.
Yeah,
3-stripe black belt. And who did he get his black belt from?
He got his black belt under Kleber Luciano, who's based out of Huntington Beach, California.
Okay. Yeah, and Tom Knox is also, I mean, he's a one heck of an athlete. I know who he is because he beat my instructor a few times in competition. Sorry, Paul. But no, I was always really impressed. I mean, he's multifaceted. Like any part of his life is really interesting because he was a pro skater since he was a kid, right? And then he came up through the skating ranks. Do you know how he found jiu-jitsu?
So he did skating and judo. I think growing up as a kid.
Oh, okay.
So because he kind of knew judo, I think he found the gym. He happened to be in Huntington Beach at the time.
Yeah.
Found the gym and then just like, oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
He just fell back in love with jiu-jitsu and just started doing that from there.
Yeah. I think I read a story about him about something happened with his brother or something like that. His brother was like a jiu-jitsu guy or a judo guy.
No, his brother was a judo guy. Really, really super talented. I forget what he told me. It was, what do you call it? I think he was either on the Olympic team or world team for judo.
That's it. Yeah.
Something like that. He was really, really good.
Super high
but
level.
Unfortunately, he passed away due to just some unfortunate stuff.
Yeah. And Tom has carried on that name in judo and jiu-jitsu. It's been fantastic. And he doesn't know me, like he wouldn't recognize me at all, but I know who he is. So I guess that's all that matters. So you came up through the kids team ranks. You got your blue belt through Tom, right? And then tell me about your relationship with Tom as far as competition goes. He's a big time competitor too.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys competed together in a lot of things.
Yeah. So literally every competition, if my parents weren't able to go, it's me and I'm in the car with Tom. With him and his wife.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much like their kid.
Yeah.
Because I was literally with them all the time.
Yeah.
Everywhere we'd go, we're pretty much all together all the time. So literally, I always say the blue belt was some of the best years because we would be competing like twice a month, like almost every single weekend.
Yeah.
We were competing so much, and we'd always be going here this weekend, come back, tournament next weekend, come back.
Yeah.
And so it was super fun. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And I like traveling, just going up and down California, go out of it. But no, around that time, kind of like just had that really, really close relation because we spent so much time together.
Yep.
We'd be in the same, share the hotel.
Yeah.
We'd drive up together, and then he's coaching me, and then since I was there, I'd be coaching him. And so we kind of built that relationship, and I kind of saw him as like a second father to me.
Yeah.
Just because we spent so much time, and then also his wife as well. We just spent so much time together.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like, as far as mentorship goes, and I mean, he could probably teach you how to be a professional as well because he had to be a professional early in his life too, right? So that's really cool that you had that. Tell me a little bit about how you started coaching for Tom because I think you coached his kids team for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah. So I believe I started coaching in 2016. So I was still a juvenile, but as a blue belt. So I think they had it because since I went up through the kids ranks and stuff like that, and I was competing at the highest level, I was traveling everywhere, just competing. He wanted me. He was like, "Hey, you want to coach the kids team?" I was like, "Heck yeah, coach."
Yeah.
And to be honest, like when I first started coaching, I was like super nervous.
Yeah.
What do you call it? My coaching was pretty bad. To be honest, like it wasn't as good. It was pretty bad.
So we got the polished. Yeah,
you guys get the polished coaching. Like this is years of experience of coaching.
Yeah.
So like this is like when I just first started coaching, it was pretty bad. My explanations weren't as good. I would either talk for a really, really long time, or I wouldn't talk enough to where they can understand it. But luckily for me, the kids who I was coaching, they were also my friends.
Yes.
Right? Because I kind of grew up with them without the belt, so I kind of met them. I've known them. They've known me.
That helps.
Right? So yeah, it really, really did help. But they were super good already. Right?
Yeah.
So at that time when I first started coaching, we had a super solid kids team.
Yeah.
Right. We would travel and stuff like that, and they were all good. But as you know how it is. As you go through the years, they either stay or they kind of find another sport and stuff like that. So people are having their own stuff, kind of finding their own journey, having different sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like later on in the years, as I was also progressing my jiu-jitsu, they were kind of either staying with it or they're finding something else to do, school, sports, stuff like that.
Yep. And I always tell kids whenever I was coaching kids, I would always tell them, we would go to a nationals, where it's out of state or whatever, or any competitions. I would always bring the kids together and say, man, enjoy this moment because this team will never be together again.
Yeah.
And they always look at me like I'm crazy, right? Because I mean, they got 100 years ahead of them. You know what I mean? But like you said, people find other sports. People get disinterested when they turn 13. That's kind of when we lose them, 13, 14. So, I always tell them enjoy that moment because it's the teams change drastically. Look at any picture, like in jiu-jitsu, if it wasn't photographed, it didn't happen. But you take a group picture from a year ago, and half the people in the picture are gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so let's talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments that you've had, which are, I mean, they're amazing. I'm assuming you went through like blue belt. You were probably tearing through your competitions pretty. I don't want to say easily, but you probably did really well at blue belt.
Yeah, majority of the tournaments, yeah. But I think through all my belts, the only tournament I never won was a world title.
Wow.
It was gi worlds.
Gotcha.
I would win no gi titles and stuff,
Right.
but the only tournaments I would not win was like in the gi.
Yeah.
The gi worlds. Like that was for some reason the one thing I just could not get.
And what do you think happened with those?
It's just probably I would always lose by like advantage or ref decision, or it just wasn't my day.
Yeah.
But no, it would always be like super close. So I'd always like either get third or second. I would always be right there, but I would never get that gold.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. Especially you get to the semis and lose by advantage. You're like, man, I was so close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or for me, the closest I came to winning pans was the Open, and I lost by ref's decision, and that really hurt because I mean, there's a couple of moments in that match where I probably could have done something a little bit more aggressive to show that I was going after it, but I just didn't, and those opportunities come and go, and they don't come back. So that's tough. That's tough. But so going to Worlds as a brown belt, I don't mean to skip over things, but going to Worlds as a brown belt at the adult division, for those of you that don't know, in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, especially IBJJF competitions, once you get to the rank of brown belt and between the age of 18 and 30, that's the most competitive division in sport, right? Brown belt and black belt.
Yeah.
But getting to brown belt, these guys are basically fighting for their black belts.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me about that going into those. I mean, that's high pressure.
Yeah. So like literally almost every match that I had at brown belt worlds was intensely close. Like it was either be pretty close. But no, like at brown belt for me, I think I was 4 or 5 months in. And so I was fighting a couple guys because, at brown belt, you're either going to be there for a good while or you're going to be there for a short while. You go right through and you're already ready for the black. Because brown belt is supposed to get you ready for black.
Yep.
Because that's when it introduces a new kind of rule set, toe holds, knee bars, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It introduces you into a new rule set. But because like so many guys high level, when you compete at brown, you're getting people from around the entire world.
Yep.
People are coming from everywhere, and they don't just show up to like just have fun. People are there to win.
Yep.
Right. At blue, purple, you're gonna get a couple people there who are there to have fun and stuff, but you're gonna get those who are there to win.
Super intense,
right? Super intense. But at brown belt, every single person in that division is there to win.
Yeah.
There's no one there to have fun. No one there. They're there for business. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
So like every match is gonna be super tough.
Yeah, because that's where you get the exposure. Sponsors start looking at you. I mean, probably sponsors are looking at people a little earlier now, but I mean, at brown belt, that's when they're really giving you a good look, and you could write your own ticket literally. To go anywhere in the world at that level, right? Yeah,
because if you make waves at brown belt, it's like, oh, he's one step away from black belt. Like, this kid's making waves. He's going to be like a big, they kind of create the hype train and stuff like that. It's like, oh, he has a ton of hype behind him. As soon as he gets his black, he's going to tear up the black belt division, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I've looked at several of your matches. I've stalked you, I'll be honest. So I've looked at several of your matches, and I'm seeing a progression in your game. I noticed that early on, especially brown belt, and early black belt. I mean, you've been a black belt for a little over a year, maybe going on 2 years.
Going on 2 years. Like August, September.
Yeah, and I've seen a progression in your game, and it's really cool to see because you have kind of a blend of super aggressive, going for the kill, and then you also have a very strategic method of going after certain opponents. Like the one that comes to mind is the Paulo Miao fight at Pans. That was probably one of the marquee wins, I would say, right? Because I mean, he's a guy that's been around a long time, and he's in his prime, and you beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like the highlight of my career so far, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was before like I was fighting him. We were studying him for forever.
Yeah.
Like, so I literally grew up watching him, everything he does, trying to learn from him, the ground game, top game, stuff like that. And so when I had to fight him, I feel like it was just like, man, this is either gonna be it or it's not gonna be. Like it's a make it or break it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like fighting against him, this is either gonna prove that I'm at that level to win and stuff like that at the black belt competition level.
Yeah.
Or I still gotta kind of break in the black belt, stuff like that. Kind of take a couple years, train stuff like that, and get to that level.
Yeah.
Because like when you get your black, it's like you know, you have these people who are either there or then they kind of have to, you know, take a year, compete, so gain some more experience to get there and stuff like that. So when I first, saw that he was in my division, I was like, oh man, it's like I like idolize this guy.
Yep.
I'm gonna fight him, or like hopefully I get to fight him. And then like it was at first it was like kind of like nervous, like man, like I don't know how I'm gonna deal with him. But then as like when it came times where I'm about to step on those mats, is like no one knows who I am. I don't need to be nervous. It's you know, I got nothing to lose. But no, I was studying him the day before, because when we go to Pans, like for black belts, you fight up until quarters, right? And then you don't fight again until the next day.
Okay.
So I had like one fight that day. I weighed in, had one fight. I won my fight. And then, you know, next day I was like, all right, I got Paulo Miao. Paulo Miao was going to be the very first match. It was the second day, right? He's in my quarters.
How do you sleep knowing that that's waiting for you? Like, how do you sleep at night when you? I don't know. That's like,
yeah, it was a little hard to go to sleep.
Yeah,
it was pretty hard to go to sleep. I was like, because I was thinking about it over and over in my head. Literally the night before, we stayed up for a couple hours just studying matches, just studying, watching him, stuff like that, what he does, stuff like that. And I knew he was because when he first started, he was insane. You know, they brought the Barambolos, inverting and stuff like that. And then at that time when I fought him, he kind of switched to be more top player.
Oh,
and like insane top pressure and stuff like that. So like he can do both. Like he's well rounded everywhere.
Absolutely.
Bottom, top, doesn't matter where he's at. He has a really good game.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of just watching him. Yeah. Just studying the moves that he kind of like, more of his go-to moves and stuff like that. And so just try to like avoid those go-to moves. Don't get stuck in positions and stuff like that.
No, that's good. That's good. So let's talk a little bit about that. You prepped by watching film. Tell me a little bit about how you prepare going into, I mean, you probably have your marquee competitions, right? The ones that you're really training for. And then you have a couple competitions that help you kind of, I mean, you have to accumulate points to get the worlds anyway. So you do those like, just, you know, I hate to say local, but the smaller tournaments to get, how do you prep for those? And walk me through, do you count how many rounds you do a week? How do you prep for those?
Literally just like prepping for the stuff. A lot of people, like in training, I always tell people in training, it's like, literally, that's the time to risk everything, because you got nothing. It's just training, right? It's just training. Literally, so like in training session, you're not gonna see me, in closed guard the whole time. Like I'm gonna be open. I'm gonna be offensive. I'm gonna attack. Because if I get my guard, I don't care. I got my guard pass. It's just in training. If I get swept, I get swept. Whatever. Yeah. So like literally, like in training, I'm a little bit like I'm way more submission oriented. I'm always going for the sub, no matter what. Yep. Because if you lose it, you lose it. If you get it, cool. Yeah. And that's all it is. That's literally how I prepare. Is risking things, just opening up, trying out new things. Because a lot of people they learn, like literally like with white belts, they'll learn whatever, something new in class, and as soon as they walk out the door, they just forget it. Yeah. Right. So it's just like growing up, just drilling, repetition, and trying to implement it while you roll. Okay. Because if you learn something, you know it, but can you implement it in live situations? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad you bring that up, because I'm sure there's kids. I'm going to call you the assistant kids coach at Aries East Mesa BJJ. Yaya being the head coach, and I'm going to get her on the podcast soon, hopefully, if she'll come on. But I think it's important for kids to hear this kind of stuff, because you know every time they see you compete, especially at a very high level, everybody's asking, well, you know, how do I get to that level? How do I get to that level? And it sounds like, I mean, you didn't win state 4 times in a row, right? At wrestling, you didn't come up as some, you know, phenom kid. You just worked your butt off and just put in the time. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think I remember you telling me a story where you would literally get out of school, ride your bike, because you weren't driving yet, to the academy, and just that's where you'd be till it closed.
That was when I was in college.
Yeah. So I mean, you were basically putting in the time. Yeah. And who did you have like a specific training partner that helped you implement a lot of your stuff?
Oh, my brother.
Your brother?
Yeah, my brother Jacob.
Who better? Yeah,
we're around the same size. I think he competes at Light Feather. He's a brown belt right now.
Okay.
But no, like growing up, he was my training partner. Every single practice, it'd be me and him. He's my partner. Right, we'd be joined.
He's a beast.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He helped me with a lot of my technique. He'd be teaching me things. Wow. I'd be teaching him things. So like, he is very intelligent. He's very, very intelligent.
Yeah, he was valedictorian of his class.
Yeah, he's valedictorian. He's a very intelligent kid.
Yeah.
So like growing up, literally, we would wake up 6 a.m. before school as kids. Right, drill. Yeah. Get out of school, straight to gym, drill.
Wow.
Practice. Okay, we wouldn't just do kids. We would do kids and adults. Wow. So for us, because we were allowed to, we did kids and adult class. So we would never just do kids and then, you know, relax, stuff like that, go have some. No, we'd do kids, be there for a bit, then do adults, right? Because I believe it was from 5 to 6 kids, and then from 6 to 7:30 adults. So it was back to back. So just
that's
2 hours and a half of training. Right?
Yeah,
and then
that's still a lot.
Yeah, so we would drill, go to school, get to the gym, drill again, then do our 2-hour kids practice, adults practice, and then drill after the practice again.
Wow.
And then from there, go home, shower, clean, do some homework, and then go to sleep. And wake up, do it again.
Yeah, because I think right now when kids see you, they see the coach, right? And you're just standing there. I mean, just running the class, and they don't see the work that you put in or that you're putting in currently, because you're still going out and training on the west side. You're driving all the way to the west side to go train with Kishinio and Kevin and those guys, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell me about that relationship with Q. How did that come about?
I've known Q since 2013. Because he used to be based out of California in Modesto.
Yep.
So that was about like 2.5 hours away from where someone was. And so Tom had a relationship with him and brought him out for a seminar.
Okay.
Right? And so when he brought him out for a seminar, I was like, we were just amazed with like the knowledge and technique that he brought. I was like, dude, like, this guy's freaking amazing. Right. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So eventually, we started cross training. So whenever we could, we would cross train. My parents would take us over there. So like, as you can tell, like my parents were very dedicated to us. So my dad worked, and then my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So my mom was able to take us wherever we needed to go.
That's cool.
Whatever we needed to do and stuff like that. So they were very dedicated to us for like learning and progressing, getting better. So we would cross train every now and then. So growing up through the belts, whether it be for Pans, Worlds, or any big tournament that there was a camp for, we would be there with Q getting ready as well.
Oh wow!
Right? So we would be at the camps, cross training there, just to like just to learn a little bit. Get some high level training. Yeah. Because like guys who go to the camps are guys from around the world who are all coming together in one spot. So like learn from each other, get some high level strategic rounds and stuff like that. So just to go there, learn, get some rounds into those guys and stuff like that, and train. Yeah. So eventually doing that, after a couple of years, that's how I met him. And then eventually, because I met Yaya, my girlfriend. Yep. And so she told me, it's like, Q's moving out there. It was like, the word is Q's moving out there. I was like, nah, he's not moving out there. It's like, he has a pretty good gym in Cali. But and then he does move out there. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. I was like training with him. Yeah. So like, then he moved out here. And so me and like, we're planning like, all right, where should you go? Like, go to Arizona, or you come here to Visalia, kind of debating and stuff like that. Because we wanted to move in together. Yeah. Because again, we were in a long distance relationship. I was based out in Cali. She was based out here in Arizona. Yeah. And so we didn't really want to be long distance, I think we were long distance for like 4 years. Wow. I think 3-4 years. And so I was like, all right, like we want to move in together. And so we decided it. And so it just happened, Kishinio was in Goodyear. Yeah. I was like, cool, Kishinio's there. Yeah. Right? If we, like, I'll move there, and then we'll go training with Q. Wow. And so it kind of just worked out perfect for us. So I was like, because I already knew Q just from, previous trainings. We kind of built that connection. Yeah. And so I told Q, I was like, hey, I'm planning on moving out there. You mind if I come in and train? He's like, yeah, dude, heck yeah, like come in, stuff like that. And then before I moved, I got my professor's blessing. I was like, hey, I'm planning on moving out to Arizona and training with Q. I was like, what do you think? Like, you cool with that? He's like, heck yeah, dude, like go out there. Wow. And so I kind of left with his blessing. I was really happy because, again, with Tom and stuff like that, the relationship, I didn't want to leave on bad terms. And so thankfully I got his blessing to go and stuff like that. So I still consider myself elite team. Of course. I've been with Tom from white to black. Yeah. I'm a Tom Knox black belt. Yeah. But now I just have 2 professors, Tom Knox and Professor Kishinio. Okay. Right? Okay. So I kind of represent both teams, elite team and Aries. Yeah. So I'm kind of the bridge between both those teams. Yeah. And, this has come up several times as far as cross training goes. And I've always been open to training with my competitors. I really have, like, especially locally, right? I mean, I have a couple guys that I compete with a lot, and we help each other. I mean, because when you go out of town, and let's just say we go to Worlds in Vegas, it's like the Arizona people just kind of huddle together. It doesn't matter what school you're from now. Mm-hmm. Like Arizona's in Vegas, and we're going to help each other. Yeah. We're going to help each other win, and that spills over when we come back. Like, every time I compete against somebody locally, it's like, man, I love this part of your game. I love that part of your game. Like, man, come on out and see us, and we'll work on it.
I love that in jiu-jitsu. And I really like that Tom was so open to, give you the blessing that, hey man, take advantage of that opportunity to go train with Q, and then you can be with Yaya and all that stuff. It's like a perfect package, right?
No, like growing up, Tom always encouraged cross training. He encourages the kids to come to his place, our kids to go to other place. Yeah. Just cross training everywhere. There's some people who are like, oh, you can't cross train. So,
right.
They get kind of, a little protective over that. But no, like cross train. If you want to go cross train, do it. Like, heck yeah, dude. Like go learn. You might look, because again, you might get a different perspective somewhere else than where you're at now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I think people now are kind of just afraid of like losing students over it, because they might like some place other than their place. Like, nah, if it happens, it happens. Like, so what Tom, he wanted the best for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
He wants the best for me. If he thinks this is the best for me, he says, take it. He told me multiple times, if I literally get an offer and it's a really good offer to teach somewhere else, take it.
Take it. Yeah.
He tells me, it's like, take it.
Wow.
So like, no, he really like genuinely, he always wanted the best for me. Always wanted the best for him. It's not like, oh no, you just need to stay here with your gym. It's best. Like he never did anything that's like, of course he looks for like what's best for the gym.
Of course.
But if it's the best for you, do it.
I love that. Right. That's so cool. Yeah. And I think a lot of that might come from his background in skateboarding and being a professional, because as a professional skateboarder, I'm sure it was a super competitive environment, just like jiu-jitsu, right? And some people's needs just change, right? And they change. I think Tom was with the same team for a long time, though, right? I mean, he was sponsored by the same people for a long time.
I think he still is.
Still is.
Santa Cruz Skateboards.
Santa Cruz, Santa Cruz. That's cool. Yeah, I skated for a little bit as a kid, but I almost broke my arm, so I stopped.
Yeah. No, I just started skating, and so like it was like super mass. Like, Tom is a professional skater, and you never skated well. I'm like, oh, I mean, yeah. It's like I suck at it. I don't want to get hurt. Yeah, because like skating, it is kind of dangerous. Like you fall, you can get hurt. It's on concrete. Yeah, there's no jiu-jitsu. There's pads. It's very safe. You can control it. But one little rock, you go over there, boom, you fall, you can break something. So like, I never really, I was a wuss. I never really wanted to try it. I think I was just too afraid to try it.
Hey, jiu-jitsu is scary enough, man. Yeah. I mean, so I want to talk a little bit about coaching. So for those of you that don't know, Josh is the head instructor of our mixed levels team over at Aries East Mesa BJJ. Does the evening classes, does some day classes as well, and private lessons, a lot of stuff in our academy. Walk me through a little bit about, I'll just fill people in. I mean, I approached you, right, to come in and help us out. We started out with I think we're going to start a 10:30 slot. And then, your training kind of interfered with that. So we moved it to a 7 o'clock slot, right, 3 days a week. But I think you're still doing 10:30 on Friday.
Yeah,
so.
just on Fridays. So like when I first started coming at the time, because, it is quite a bit of drive to keep going to Goodyear all the time. I would be going to I think it was like 7 p.m. class and Goodyear, 6 or 7 p.m. class. And so at the time, like we'd be getting back super late and have to wake up, go over. Because when I first came here, I was still working at In-N-Out.
Yep, I remember that.
I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, right, 10 a.m., 5 to 10, and go straight to the gym to go teach from 10:30 to blah. And then after that, I'd be able to relax for a bit and then have to drive out to Goodyear, go train, and then come back. And then so eventually, all of our competitors who are coming down to Arizona, like so, not just Q, like a couple guys started moving to Arizona, because they're chasing life jiu-jitsu too. Yeah. To train with Q, to train with everyone. We kind of were like bringing it to the 11 a.m. class.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I was like, hey, the 11 a.m. class, like that's why I'm like want to start training a little bit. Like you guys mind, right? Yeah. And so that's when we kind of switched it. So now that's when I was training, or not. I would be waking up at 5 a.m. to 10, go straight after, go train, come back, and then teach at night. Yeah. Right? And it was a little easier because East Mesa is way closer. As soon as I'm done, boom, I can go straight home, super close. I don't have to make like a pretty long drive. And then I can just, relax for a bit and stuff like that. So it was kind of pretty good. Kind of wearing them down on the body, because then I'd have to, if I got back super late, I'd have to wake up again at 5 a.m. to go
do
back
it all
to work,
over again. Yeah.
Yeah. So like literally as soon as I like won pans, right, because I had to work, I was still working at In-N-Out. I got back from pans. I was like, all right, I got to go work in the morning.
Wow.
I had to go work in the morning because I was a cleanup shift.
Oh,
right
okay.
Now. So like I'd wake up, get to the store, and then clean up all that, and then after that, go back to training and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. So that's why I kind of switched it, and then eventually I was able to, because like you guys brought me out, sponsors, stuff like that. Now I don't work anywhere, just train, teach, full-time jiu-jitsu, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was our plan all along. Like, how do we get him to quit his job? So
like coaching at 7 p.m. It's freaking like everyone who comes in, everyone's there willing to learn. We're ready. They want to learn. They want to train hard. So I'm like, let's push it.
Yeah.
Let's push the pace. Let's
Yeah.
get a good sweat.
Yeah.
When people come in, everyone comes in. We get those classes. You can feel the energy of everyone. Just a really, really good time.
Yeah,
like
I think the environment's been fantastic.
Oh,
But so let me ask you about your coaching philosophy a little bit. I mean, you focus a lot on competition for yourself, but how do you take a person that has never done jiu-jitsu, get them in a class, and get them fundamentally sound, and then build them up into I mean, because your experience is vast. I mean, you're a young guy, but you've been training a long time, more than 10 years, right? More 12 years, something like that.
I think going on 10.
10 years?
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
years. 10
So
years.
that's a pretty long time. That's a pretty long time. But how do you get a guy, like I said, they come in, they know nothing. Okay. How do you get them from nothing to fundamentally sound and push them into more advanced techniques?
First, you guys see if they're willing to put in the hours.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Because, 1 hour a day is good. 1 hour a day is good. But if it's 1 hour and you're only coming in 3 times a week,
yeah,
it's going to be a lot longer.
Yep.
And plus, you're going to find those who are talented where they progress way faster than others. So, everyone has their own journey on there.
Yeah.
Right? So, everyone's going to take their own time, and it's going to be different for everyone. But no, they have to be willing to put in the hours as well. Right? So, if you come in from nothing and you fall in love with it, we get a lot of those guys at the gym, and they come in so many times. They keep coming in, they keep coming in. So, if they come in about 4 or 5 times a week, that's good.
Yeah.
But if they come in twice a day, 4 or 5 times a week, they're going to progress a lot faster.
Yeah.
So no, just getting them to drill a ton. So I like what you guys kind of have the Warrior Challenge, the 6 weeks, kind of you guys go back over and over. So that's good for all the newcomers and people who want to review and stuff like that. So
yeah. Yeah, so what Josh is referring to is we do a program, a 6-week trial program that is just basic fundamentals of jiu-jitsu. It's 13 weeks, and we encourage everybody new to go through that program. So we kind of graduate them from that program and then deliver them to you, right?
Yeah.
But they're still brand new. I mean, 6 weeks may sound like a long time. It's like less than a day in jiu-jitsu years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much knowledge. So it's good that when they first come in and they graduate from that class, they know pretty much what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they know just the very basics, the very 1% of the entire jiu-jitsu knowledge.
Yeah.
Very little.
Yeah.
They know a good amount, but when you bring them in and they come into the mixed levels, it's like a whole new world opens up, whoa,
Yeah.
So no, it does kind of help get them ready for, kind of the moves, more advanced techniques that we start doing, because it is hard to, try to keep bringing people up to speed over and over and over again.
Yep.
So when they come in and they're ready, it really, really helps out.
Good.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, just to get people from, being fundamentally ready and stuff like that, they just have to be willing to, first thing, willing to learn.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, we always tell people, leave the ego at the door.
Yep.
Right? Leave that at the door. You come onto the mat, you're a student, stay a student. Don't try to think because again, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even now, I feel like I don't really know much.
Yeah. And it's funny you bring that up, because I take a lot of pride in the amount of pressure I can apply to someone if I really put my mind to it. But you've been teaching me just little shifts in my hand position, or little turns of my hip, or little changes in my body that drives, it feels almost double the pressure that I'm putting on somebody. And so I, even as a black belt, I take the I know out of my vocabulary, and just whatever you say, I'm going to try. I'm going to try it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the things that you do, my body won't do. It's a little bit older, I'm just saying. but those little changes in hand position, hip position, my body can do that, right? And I can apply a lot more pressure.
The smallest details can make the biggest changes in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Literally, the smallest details, right? Just a little adjustment with the arm, a little adjustment with the grip, it can change everything.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we try to, tell our students, right? Try to pay attention to every little detail, right? Every little detail, because we try to strive for perfection when we're doing our moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? We're not going to reach perfection, but we try to strive for that.
Yeah.
So if you don't get perfection, you're going to be near it.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be near perfection.
Pretty darn close.
Good, and that's really good. So, try to just pay attention to every little detail.
I love it. Right? Yeah.
And so, you got people who, they forget 2 steps, hey, you gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
And then you get those who are super, super talented. It's like monkey see, monkey do for them.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I like this guy.
Yeah. You just, you kind of gravitate.
What the heck? Dang.
Yeah.
But no, just every little step, you get those really, really hard workers. And they just boom. And then you get those guys who have to kind of put in a little extra effort, extra hours. And then you get those guys that get it once and then they got it.
Yeah.
Right. It's really, really cool. But it's the guys who keep drilling and the hard working guys. Guys got to watch out for.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are the guys because they're paying attention. They're like extra focused when you're teaching a move.
Yeah.
They're looking at every little step, every little movement, every little grip, every little detail.
Yeah. So what I do is when somebody's showing a move, I kind of look at, okay, I look at the hands and shoulders, and then the next move I'll look at the hip, and then the next move that you're showing it several times, and then the third time I'll look at the feet, and then I kind of put it all together because I found if I just focus on one piece, my brain shuts off, and then we go ready 1, 2 break, and then I don't remember what the heck you said.
Yeah.
So I have to really focus on every little detail, like you said, in order to keep my brain active. And then when we break and go to drill, I feel a lot more confident in executing the move.
Yeah. Because then, like, we get that a lot, like, with kids.
Yeah.
They'll watch it, and then you go out to them, it's like, what are we doing again?
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're asking a question. It's like, I need help. I'm like, okay, what you need help with? It's like, all of it.
All of it.
I'm like, did you pay attention? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure you did?
Yeah.
It's like, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
So no, it's like, yeah, because you just gotta pay attention, and then it's okay to forget. It's like we'll always be there to help you. Like we don't get mad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, just like, all right, he do this. We show him and help him out. It's cool.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? Just paying attention to every little detail. You're gonna get that. You're gonna understand the move.
Yeah.
And when you get those details, you're gonna understand why we do those, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna understand why we put our hips this way, why we kind of turn our shoulders this way, why we kind of leaning, why we have this grip, just stuff.
Yeah.
You don't just learn the move; you learn why we do what we do.
it. Yep.
Why are there grips? Why do we do these adjustments?
And that's the importance. I think that's the importance of people coming to your class multiple times per week, because you can't grab that why when you're trying to figure out the how. Yeah. Right? How do you do it? Yeah. And you can't, it's really hard to get them both at the same time. But if you're showing up several times a week, then you can start understanding the how, and you can work into the why, and then you're explaining, because you do a great job of explaining the move. And then there's times when I notice that maybe in the second week when we're doing the move, like you kind of increase the amount of detail that you're explaining, because we've got it right now. We can move on. And I think a lot of people say, well, I can't show up 6 days a week. Cool. There's a hack. Right? The hack is you take a lot of notes. You film the instructor doing it, and you study those, right? I think that's a good hack for people, right?
Well, yeah, because I always tell people, especially the kids, because, they can learn a lot, because, like, their minds and stuff, they're still progressing. They're going to learn a lot better.
Yep.
Right? And their bodies and stuff, they can do a ton of moves that were kind of where the older, the adults and stuff like that, they kind of can't do the same,
Yep.
So I always tell people, don't just come in and train, because we know you can't come in all the time. But when you're at home, what are you doing at home, right?
That's right.
You got a couple hours at the house.
Yep.
So we had mats in our garage. Our mat was filled with the garage. So we wouldn't just train at the gym because 1-2 hours a day.
They close too. You can't be there all the time.
You can't be there all the time.
Yeah.
And then so we got mats at the house. We're gonna drill at the house, right?
Perfect.
So boom, that's where we're gonna kind of watch. If you film, you got mats at the house. You can watch. If you got a training partner. For me, I had my brother.
Yeah.
But if you have like a friend who wants to come over, they come over. You guys do it together. It's perfect. Or if you have like, let's say like your wife or your family, your kids. Yeah. So like for a lot of people, they only train at the gym.
Yep.
Right. And so that's why they don't really progress as fast, because you have other people who train multiple times at the gym and at their house.
Yeah.
Right. They train wherever they're at. If they got the time to do it, they do it.
Yeah. And you got those, I call them psychopaths.
Yeah.
You got those psychopaths that'll go to like 4 different open mats in a weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are getting it in. You know what I mean? And they're getting the rolls in, which is cool. But that's great. But if you're not showing up for technique, all you're being is a tackling dummy for somebody, because you're just rolling. You're not progressing. I don't think you're progressing as much, but it's important to get the rolls in.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to also bring up. You've got some upcoming events. And obviously the one that we're all looking forward to is the trilogy fight with Kennedy. You've fought him twice, and you guys are 1-1. This is for those of you that don't know, Josh is the current fight to win pro champ at 155, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna fight Kennedy, who is he's a son of a legend. Right.
Yeah.
And what's I think what's important to talk about is, you come from a good wrestling pedigree, right? Your whole family wrestled. Your dad was a blue belt under Hoist Gracie, but he comes from basically a family of. His dad's a legend.
Yeah.
Right. So there is a difference there. And tell me a little bit about going into that first fight with Kennedy.
So going in there, it was actually pretty cool, because He is a bit older than me. I think he's around the same age as my older brother.
Oh, okay.
So my brother Chris used to fight him as a blue belt.
Oh, wow.
And so now I'm at the level, so he kind of like went off, and so Kennedy stayed with it, and so now I'm fighting against Kennedy, so right?
Wow.
So now I'm at black, and now it's me and Kennedy going. So going in, I was like, all right, now it's time to really test to see, because I won brown belt Nogi Worlds, right?
Yep.
I knew my Nogi was pretty good.
Yep.
I really like Nogi because, again, it reminds me of wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? So I really like wrestling. I just don't like cutting the weight and doing competitions.
30 pounds, yeah.
The wrestling trainings are brutal. So, so I kind of like, I knew I had the wrestling. I knew I had like the top pressure, stuff like that. And then from doing jiu-jitsu, I've developed my bottom game and stuff like that, So going in that first fight, I was super excited because he took silver at ADCCs.
Oh,
right?
wow. That's
so,
right.
Yeah,
Tanquinho, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He lost to Tanquinho.
Yeah.
Right. So it was to really kind of test myself of where my Nogi level is. Because I told everyone, I want to start doing Nogi more because Nogi's like blowing up.
It is.
Now it's been blowing up. So I was like, I want to do more Nogi. And I was like, all right, here you go. It's like right away, you and Kennedy Massey. I was like, all right, perfect. Let's test it.
Yeah.
And so I put 9 minutes and 30 seconds of just whooping on him.
Yeah.
Right. I put him in so many different submissions, going left and right, blah, blah, blah.
You had him in a triangle for a long time.
I had him in triangle, Kimura, Omoplata, and just going back and forth, just
Yeah.
over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
But then I made a mistake in that last 30 seconds. He got my back, and then he got me with a rear naked choke.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because I remember the fight, and we were going crazy over it. But there was one moment where it looked like you had a little bit of, I don't want to say a lapse in maybe a lapse in judgment, right? You kind of let go a little bit, turned your back on him, like you almost disengaged, right?
Because he was having like on bottom. I was like, dang, he got some good pressure on top, right? So I was like, if I get to my feet, he ain't gonna get nothing over, right? It's game over.
Yeah.
So that's what I was kind of thinking. Get to my feet, right?
Okay.
Push him away, get to my feet. But because again, it's only the only thing that matters in the match is the sub. Right? Nothing else matters.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, I know I put him in a ton of submissions. There's not really much time left. If I get to my feet, we can reset, but when I can probably reattack something, get something going.
Yeah.
Right. So that was my move. I kind of got him off balance. I got him back. I released the pressure. And as soon as I did, I tried to kick him off, and then boom, I turned to get up to my feet, but he grabbed my foot.
Yep. I remember.
Grabbed my foot, pulled himself on my back. I was like, crap.
Oh.
Right. As soon as he grabbed me, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how much at the time. I didn't know how much time. It was super people were going crazy. It was like super loud in there.
Yeah.
I couldn't look at the time because like I'm trying to fight.
It was
off
less
the
than
back
30 seconds.
Yeah.
It was
And so as soon as he got to my back, he synced in the rear naked choke. I think someone said there was like only 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
But as soon as he got in the rear naked choke, I was if I didn't tap, I was probably gonna go to sleep before the 10 seconds were up.
Yeah.
So like he got it in like really good. And so like when after that happened, I was like I looked back and I was like, why did I get up? I should have just stayed down. Like we talked to Q, talked to the girl, like I should have like I could have allowed a guard fight, even if it passed my guard mouth.
Doesn't matter.
It wouldn't have gotten the
Yep.
win. Because I had so many submission attempts and so many close submissions on him. So it wouldn't have mattered. So I could have just stayed down.
Yeah.
And so like I think I was like when I like look back at it after the match, I was like, why did I get up? Like why did I try to get up? I should have just stayed down.
You were way ahead.
I was like, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
So like now when I look back
it's
at
a learning process, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I just learned from it. I was like, dang it, next time. And so, and then they presented me the opportunity. Hey, it was so good. People loved it. Let's go round 2. I was like, let's go round 2. Heck yeah.
How long did you have to wait for that?
Let me see. Not long.
Okay.
Actually, it was
pretty
like
quick,
a couple
right?
months. Yeah, just a couple months. Because then he brought it to Arizona.
It was here.
Yeah, it was here. He said, hey, we're coming to Phoenix, at Phoenix, Arizona. We want, as Seth said, you want you and Kennedy, we can go round 2. I was like, let's do it.
Oh, that's
like,
so cool.
Go.
That's
like,
so cool.
I really wanted that match back. I really wanted that back. Because, I was winning. And so even though I lost, I kind of looked at it and said, dude, I just did that to an ADCC silver medalist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You belong, right?
Yeah. So I know the kind of level I'm at.
Yeah.
Right? And so, all right, let's go round 2. I want to get a win against this guy.
Yeah.
And so, boom, he brings it here in Phoenix. We get the whole gym goes, bunch of the adults and kids. We have a huge Aries East Mesa team there.
Yeah.
And it's Arizona. I know. I've been here in Arizona. I've been visiting here since 2017. I know. A pretty good amount of the community. Like a lot of people out here.
Yeah.
Right. And so pretty much I have the hometown advantage, stuff like that.
Yep.
And then kind of same thing. It was a little different at first because usually first time he pulled guard on me.
Yep.
So when it came out, he tried to wrestle with me. I tried to jump for a guillotine. He caught my single leg. I fell on my back. And then he went double under his pass and then got close to my back and then went to crucifix. And then we were kind of there in a crucifix for a good while.
I remember that. Yes. Mm-hmm. There was a drunk lady yelling.
Yeah. There was a drunk lady yelling. That was pretty funny. So what do you call it? It was we were there for a good while. it seemed like he didn't want to lose that position whatsoever.
Right.
So probably by the time I got out, there was like half of the match left.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, he's pretty much winning. And then I was like, all right, it's time to go. And so the same move that initiated the my attacks in the first match, hit him on it, hit him with it again.
Yes,
the
it
black
looked almost identical.
The black hole entry.
Yeah.
Right, so I do have an instruction on that.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
What do you call it? The black hole entry. And so that's like one of my bread and butter moves out there. So as soon as I got there, boom, black hole, straight to that Kimura trap, reverse triangle, and everyone just goes wild. Everyone just goes crazy, like, oh. And so it's like fun fights when I love the energy they bring. The energy, everyone going. Yeah,
and for those of you that haven't been to a fight to win, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say it. It's logoed, and I'm sure it's copywritten and everything, but it's so much fun, man. It's so much fun to be there as a grappler, even as a spectator, and watching some high level jiu-jitsu going on. It's really cool to watch. And you got the third fight with Kennedy coming up in Arizona. In August, right?
Yeah. So like after that second fight, didn't get the sub. After that I just controlled, put him in a ton of submissions, almost subbed him a couple times again.
Yep.
Got the win, got the belt. And then Seth was like, dude, this is going to be like a freaking insane rivalry. Yeah. You guys need to go back and forth. And so now he's coming back to Phoenix August 6th. It's not set.
Okay.
Right? It's not set. That's kind of something I want.
Yeah.
Right? Something that's going to be talked about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's what it is.
Yeah.
But if not, I'll fight someone else. We'll go like gi or no gi. Oh, sorry, gi or no gi, it doesn't matter.
But you'll be at 155 putting the title on the line, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's a no gi match, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
But if it's a gi match, probably I don't know who has the belt at gi. Probably find whoever has the belt at gi and go against them.
Yeah.
But if possible, me and Kennedy trilogy, because I'm pretty sure that's gonna bring a ton of heads, ton of views. It'll just go crazy out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what we should do.
That would be so cool. So Seth, if you're watching by chance, I'm gonna tag the heck out of him anyway. He'll watch. I'll make a bunch of clips and tag him in each one. Yeah. But I want to talk about also your ADCC trials.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the ADCC trials, you were putting in some work, man. You were putting in some serious work, and I guess it's okay for me to say it now. You're a little dinged up going in. You had a couple of little injuries going on. Nothing major, but I mean, a little, but had a tough weight cut, made the weight. And tell me about going into, I've never watched, I've only seen it on Flow. What is it like going into ADCC? Because when you look at the brackets, it's like a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It was huge. Dude.
Yeah.
This was the ADCC West Coast trials, according to Mo, the biggest trials in ADCC history.
Yeah.
Right. Almost every single division was maxed out.
Wow.
I think 256 people in my division, including me, right? 256.
Wow.
So, how many? I think I had 7 matches.
Wow.
Right? 7 matches sold out of the tournament. And jiu-jitsu, that's a ton.
That's a ton
of matches,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think I'm in like any sport, that's a ton of matches.
That's a ton of matches.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just a ton.
And that's in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 matches in 2 days. It had to be 2 days. Usually trials are only like 1 day, but this one had to be 2 days because of how many people were there.
Yeah.
Right. So we had to make it 2 days, and it's ran like kind of like it's ran like a wrestling event, like a wrestling tournament. You do the round of 256, the round of 128 for every single weight class, and then you go down to the next round, right?
Gotcha.
So not only it's like not like IBJJF, it's your division starts at this time, and we're gonna run through your division, and then we go next division. So it's kind of like you're gonna be there the entire day. So when you go there, everyone has it, the adrenaline and stuff like that. They're getting pumped, they're getting ready for it, and then having to wait. Right, being anxious, like I just want to get on the mats already. Like for me, when I was there, it's like I want to get on the freaking mat.
Yeah,
like I want to compete already. So like having to wait a couple hours in between, it was cool. But it's like, man, like can we get this over with? Like you kind of get cold. You gotta re-warm up and stuff like that. Like I want to get it going.
Yeah.
Right? But no, that tournament was super fun. I love the ADCC. That was my first time competing in the ADCC rule set.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that was my first time competing in that rule set, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Right. And ADCC really favors wrestling.
Yeah.
Like it really encourages wrestling.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got pretty good wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So like, heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So like going in, I think I had 5 subs.
Yep.
Out of 7 matches.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was pretty much on fire.
Yeah,
right?
you
I
were.
just felt on fire.
You were. I don't know if you got like if there's like a sub of the weekend or whatever, but your submissions were spotlighted in a lot of videos.
Sure, that might be a sub of the year.
Sub of the year, man.
that might get sub of the year.
And you got it twice, right?
So yeah, twice.
So for those of you that are not familiar with the ADCC, it's the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's basically the marquee no-gi event of the year. And there are trials all over the world, and you actually have to win the trial to qualify for the ADCC that's coming up in September. But there's also there's like a list of invitees, right? They invite
so
some people?
it's a 16-man bracket for the World Championships. So there's 8-man or 16-man bracket, 8 who are trials winners, and then 8 who are invites.
Yep.
So you just get like a huge 16 of the best in the world in no-gi, right? 8 who win the trials, and then 8 who are invited.
Yeah.
So I didn't win the trials. I got silver at the trials.
Yep.
Right, and I lost to Keith Krikorian. So, but I made a very, very good impression that what do you call it? That's like, hey, it's like we're looking at you as an invite.
Yeah.
For ADCC.
Well, anyone that gets 5 submissions in 7 matches is going to get an invite. I'm sorry, but I totally expected you to get the invite.
But it was not only that, but because of how I fought and the way I fought with Gianni Grippo. Because Gianni Grippo is an ADCC, multi-time ADCC veteran. He's been there. Yeah. He's won trials and stuff like that and been invited multiple times. But just the way that I pretty much controlled and dominated throughout the match. Yeah. Right. And then I got the sub at the end against him. Yeah. Just the way that happened and kind of the way I fought against him and stuff like that, and the result I got on him, I think that's probably pretty much solidified. Yeah. It's like, man, it's like you just did this. This guy's been to ADCC how many times and like done super well against multiple people, and you just did that to him. Like that's kind of the mindset they had. Yeah. He's
a big deal, and you fought several guys that are a big deal. I mean, you fought some really good, really tough competitors, but. So let's talk about that submission. And I want to thank you for not doing it to me or anybody in the academy. But let's talk a little bit. Tell me about the setup to that sub.
So I would do it off of a shot. So at first, when I first did it against a guy, my first match, I didn't know who the guy was. That was just to see if it actually works. I've never done this in training. I knew it was a move, but I never tried it personally myself. Yeah. Because it's kind of a mean thing. I don't want to hurt no one in training. Right. It is something that you can really hurt someone.
You could, yeah.
Right? And so I was there, and I was in the back. I was on his back for a good while, and we're just hanging there. I was like, man, time's kind of ticking down. I'm not getting the hooks. I was like, let's go for it. Let's try it out. Let's see if it works. And then I did it, and then that one went viral. Yep. And I got the sub. Boom, I tore his hamstring. Yep. Like, his hamstring tore. And I think in the video, if you saw it, you can just see it.
Yep,
and like
I saw it.
Yeah, his hamstring just shakes.
Yeah.
So after I got it, I was like, cool. It works, right? It works. And then, so I got it. That one went viral. It worked. And then, so I do it off of the shot. My outside single, they turn in. Boom, I kind of club them, run the pipe. But in ADCC, if you turn out to your knees, it's considered no takedown. So a lot of people, that's why they turn out to their knees instead of staying in the back or trying to go. They just turn out. They allow you, because people, they practice escaping the back and like not giving up the back. Yeah. And when you get sweaty in no-gi, it's a slip and slide. You slip off of it. It's very, very easy to slip out of things. Yep. Right. But, you know, I got one hook in, power half, holding it, get to the other side, grabbing the ankle, rip on it. Wow. So it's the same movement as you do for a knee bar. Yep. Right. Yep. But I'm just pulling the foot above your head. Yeah, and it's basically going across their body, basically, right? Up in their chest, and you're pulling like towards the head. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I did to get it on the first one. I was like, okay, that's kind of like my bread and butter for wrestling and stuff like that. Yeah. So and then once I did it against Gianni, I hopped on his back. I was like, oh, I know what I'm going for. Yeah. Right. Round 2, let's go for it again. And so boom, I got on Gianni, and his thing tore. And I think he's getting surgery and stuff on it and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah. I follow him on Instagram, and I mean he's. What I like about the message that he's spreading is like, yeah, this happened, and just watch me come back. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. So like doing it, it's like. I am trying to hurt you. It's jiu-jitsu,
of course,
right?
It's jiu-jitsu.
It's like, it's not my intentions, but hey, like, I'm trying to win. Yeah. Right? If it happens, it happens. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. But, like, during that time in the match, sorry.
Yeah, right.
Sorry about that. But no, getting it, and then that one went viral, because that match, the way they did this, I think semifinals and finals and, like, third place matches, it's on one mat in front of everybody. Wow. So... They did because Seth was on it. Seth, Sean Fowler, Renato, and then Mo. Mm-hmm. So those guys, right? They ran, and they kind of ran the semifinals and finals like it was a fight to win.
Like a fight to win. Yeah. Big
so
production.
You got the walkout, big production, lights everywhere, music, and it was really, really cool. Yeah. So doing it on just one big mat, the venue was like completely sold out, ton of people there, right? And so boom, I got on that, the crowd just goes crazy. Yeah. I hit that. And then on social media, like, this guy hit it again. Like, what the heck? Yeah.
on
So,
Grippo too.
yeah,
I mean,
and
he's
it's
a big
not only
deal.
hitting on someone; it's like hitting on Grippo.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty cool to do that on someone like of his caliber.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just like hitting that, and I think that kind of like just made the highlight of
Yeah.
that tournament and stuff like that. And then going in the finals and losing the finals, it was kind of like bittersweet. I had a
Yeah.
really good run, but it ended like that, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, and you know, it was I believe it was an inside heel hook, and
Yeah.
you already had that foot was already injured.
That foot was injured
Yeah.
previously.
And I'm saying it because I know you'll never say it. You never
Mhm.
talk about losses. You never talk about, you know, being injured. You never make an excuse. You're always really, really humble about wins and losses. And I really admire that about you. But when I saw that inside heel hook, Chris and I, you know, and Cole and everybody, we're always texting each other, and you know, we knew you were already that foot was already a little dinged up, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your third match.
It was dinged up, and so that's why I had to get tape on it. And I don't want to tape one foot because
Right.
if you tape one foot, people are like,
It's a target.
yeah, I was like, oh, something's wrong with the foot, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll just tape up both foot. But like the thing is, like if you tape it, it's the friction, right?
Yeah.
You can't really slip out of things. So
Yeah,
when he caught it, I felt it. I was like,
it's there.
yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's like I gotta tap.
Yeah.
It's like, do I risk it? Do I like try to fight it and try to escape and potentially hurt myself? Because again, it's on the leg. I hurt that leg before a couple times. People
Yeah.
seen like with my knee
Yep.
and stuff like that. And now the ankles hurt too at the
Yeah.
same time. I was like, yeah, let's not risk it.
Yeah, and I think you were lucky because, and I hate to say luck, right? An injury is an injury, but you were kind of lucky that, you know, a heel hook hurt your ankle and not your knee again. That's kind of cool. And had you held on and maybe something popped, you wouldn't be doing ADCC, even if you won, right? You'd be, you know, it'd be something really bad.
So I just, because like, yeah, I did have like really bad, the past couple of injuries.
Yeah.
Those were pretty bad. That put me out a couple tournaments. So I just didn't want to like have to re-go through all that again.
Yeah.
I'd rather stay healthy and then, see him at the next one.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you got the invite.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
tell me about how did that happen? How did you get the invite?
So there's one invite left, right? And then, people were saying that, a lot of people were saying me. Everyone they don't like AJ.
Right.
But like AJ's really popular. He took silver medal. Silver medalist at ADC 2017. So he is, he's legit.
Well, the thing about AJ is, hey, it may be who he is, but anybody who pisses that many people off is gonna get eyes. The people are gonna watch, right? Because they want him to lose, or people that like him want him to win. So good on him, man. Like he knows how to attract attention. Like good for him. So yeah.
So it was between me and AJ, but come later on, Ryan Hall got injured. So like Mo told me, it's like, hey, it's like no matter like whoever gets an invite, just be ready. Someone will get hurt. Someone like blah blah blah. So all right, cool.
Yeah.
But like someone got hurt, and then 2 invites were open. And Mo says, like, it's you and AJ. He literally said, hey, can I call you? So I woke up, did some stuff. I saw on social media, I was like, oh, Ryan Hall got hurt. I was like, oh, really?
Wow. Yeah.
He got hurt. Like, that's very unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty fortunate for me.
Yeah.
Just because, like, a spot opens up, it kind of guarantees and solidifies it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it really sucks that he got hurt because everyone really want to see Ryan.
Yep.
Stuff like that. He's very intelligent. He's a genius in jiu-jitsu. But when he got hurt, first thing I see, I get a notification. It's like, hey, can I call you from Mo? And I was like, I think I might know what this is about. So he calls me. I was like, hey, what's up? Blah, blah. He's like, I don't know if you've seen yet. It's like, oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. And he's like, do you want the spot? I was like, heck yeah, I want the spot.
Yes, man.
Yes, I want the spot. And so I was like, all right. So it's going to be you and AJ. Those are your spots. So, it was pretty much it. And then he just said, like, yeah, we'll get it going. And then I'll probably announce AJ first because he said because like literally so many people on all his lives and posts like this like Cisneros Josh like go with Josh blah, blah, like forget AJ go with Josh. So if you wanted to troll, he's like let me troll these guys a little longer and then I'll post you.
I love
it.
I was
like okay. Mo is super funny. He's super funny.
Hey man, they know how to attract attention, man. That's really cool. Yeah, and you're gonna bring a big crowd in. And like I said, man, you didn't come from one of the big box schools, right? That you talk about the AOJs and the Ottos and also they produce a lot of awesome competitors. And I YouTube all of them, right? I follow a lot of those guys on Instagram as well. But coming from a small school out of, is it Visalia? Am I saying it right? Visalia. Yeah. Coming out of a small school in Visalia, coming over to Arizona. Again, we're not, we have a big association, but we're not a giant school. You know what I mean? And, making it to the ADCC, I'm super proud of you, man. That's a big accomplishment. Yeah. I want to transition a little bit. I don't know how to transition, so I'm just going to do it. So let's talk a little bit about your instructionals. You have several instructionals that are available on BJJ Fanatics, right? Mm-hmm. And then you also have some with Jiu Jitsu X.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know and that want to get into the instructional piece and want to study film, you can get a free membership to each one of those websites, and then you buy the instructionals, and they're yours forever as long as you keep your username and password, because I always forget mine. But you can keep a library of several, high level black belts teaching a really, really good technique. Anything from super basic stuff. Yeah. There's even stuff in there to do like I feel like I'm doing a BJJ Fanatics commercial, but there's stuff there that you can do for like individual drills. Yeah. Team drills for real basic stuff, and then as advanced as you want to get. So you want to talk a little bit about your instructionals?
Yeah. I just have a couple. Just one in the gi. Actually, like a couple in the gi and then no gi and stuff like that. I just came out with one recently with the no gi because from West Coast Trials that like blew up. Yeah. I was getting telling people like, hey, instructionals on this. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Like, so tell me about that one. What can people find in that instructional?
That one's gonna be more just no-gi based, kind of like those who like really like ADCC rules set, that kind of competition style. Okay. It's really going to be meant for those who want to do kind of that. Okay. Because again, it is kind of based off of that. And then just like no-gi submissions and stuff like that. Nice. So if people want to learn like the black hole entry, that's going to be on there. That the Sulov stretch, that's going to be on there. And just like attacks from the back, attacks from like knee slice into, because that's usually what I do. I like to be a top guy passing, and then not just passing but attacking submissions as I do it. Nice, right? And then I just have a couple like leggy ones on BJJ Fanatics. A lot that goes over like omoplata and stuff, because that one kind of went viral over at Pans. Yep. And then on Jiu Jitsu X, some new stuff that I've been working on. And then on Jiu Jitsu X, I kind of have one that's like a kind of like a fundamental one, a close guard. Okay. It's high level close guard that, you can do it. Because, again, close guard is like the very first thing that you learn. Yep. Like as a white belt. Yep. Right? So it's kind of perfect for anyone. Yeah, I actually, I tell my white belts that, and especially older white belts, like if you can, if at all possible, get somebody in your close guard. Yeah. Because you can slow them down. It's almost, I don't want to call it an equalizer, but it really slows people down and allows you to play a little bit, get them to your level for however long that lasts before they pass your guard. Yeah. So, no, like close guard, that's like the most basic guard, but it's always used at the highest level. Yeah. You always see people using it at the highest level. Yep. So like I use close guard a ton, and I really like close guard. But it just like where you're on close guard, you're on complete offense, right? And the guy's just trying to get out of your guard. That's what it is. He's trying to open up your guard and pass. Yeah. So that's what his focus is. But he can't really do that as much if you're also throwing up submissions and attacks and stuff like that, breaking postures. So I always say to people, close guard. Because if you don't get in the close guard and you like try to pull and open, people are going to be going left and right, getting, kind of a little crazy, hopping over, misdirect and stuff like that. It's really hard to control them, Yeah. So get the close guard to slow them down. And then now that they're slowed down, they have to build up to get to that, right? Right. And then as they're building up, you're in your close guard, you're throwing your attacks and stuff like that. So close guard, I love close guard. Yeah, yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you have in the future. I know you got several events coming up. What is it that you want to do? Let's say, what's Josh going to be doing 5 years from now? Are you looking to open an academy of your own someday, or what is it that you want to do? I plan to open up a gym. Okay. I think right now we're probably looking at like Hawaii. Oh, nice. To open up a gym. Sweet. It's not set yet, but we're still being open. Me and we want to open up a gym together. Yeah. I think that's pretty much the goal for every jiu-jitsu. Everyone that does jiu-jitsu is absolutely. Compete, and then eventually, owning a gym. Yeah, yeah. Because, I'm already doing it now. I'm giving back knowledge that was shared to me. 100%. It's just a cycle. Yeah. People like whatever you learn, I just want to get back to the jiu-jitsu community. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that are being inspired by you and Yaya in our academy now that you're gonna affect them for years to come, and maybe they'll be opening an academy of their own someday. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So just open up academy. So right now, just competing, having fun. Getting all that out because, if I get my titles, cool, put that on the resume. Yeah. Really cool. So I'm just enjoying it. I kind of use jiu-jitsu as like an excuse to travel. I love traveling. I love seeing the world, go see different places. And jiu-jitsu can take you there. 100%. It can take you to different places and stuff like that. So that's like one of the reasons why I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Right? It's really awesome. You can do it whether you're a kid or whether you're 70 years old. Yeah. Right? You can do it. It's something for everybody. It's absolutely true. Yeah. There's a lot of people that have a lot of excuses as to what they can or can't do. And really, I started jiu-jitsu when I was 40. I'll be 50 this year, and I'm still doing it. And I'd argue that I'm better today than I was at 40. I'm in better shape, physically and mentally. Yeah. And I owe a lot of it to jiu-jitsu. It's just something that you're not only learning, it's not like a new skill that you're learning. It's working out. Yes. It's another option to exercise. Yeah. Like some people, they don't feel it, but like when you're training, you're doing drilling and then rolling, you're losing weight, you're exercising. It's a really good form of exercise. It doesn't even feel like it.
Right.
But you are exercising.
Right. And it makes you focus on a lot of different things. Like if you're going to train hard, you're going to have a hard training session. You're not going to go have a hamburger at lunch. Yeah. If you're 50. You might get away with it. I can't get away with it. But you're going to drink more water, right? You're going to start taking care of your body. You're going to think about decisions that you're making throughout the week and that are going to help you prepare for those tough training sessions, because it takes me a hard training session, take me a couple days to recover from. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can recover in 10 seconds. I cannot. But yeah, a little bit about the travel. And I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about your sponsors. Do your sponsors help you with the travel expenses and stuff like that? How does that work?
So literally, like when your sponsors, they hit you up, stuff like that, you kind of cut like a deal.
Yeah.
With them, right. It's just a deal.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you represent us. Well, we'll give you kind of this, depending on like what you feel your worth is at the time.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you get. So like, I kind of have it with all my sponsors to where they're kind of like helping me out with competition. They're paying me and stuff like that.
That's good. That's good.
Just like, that's how it is. And that's what every athlete is trying to get, a sponsorship. Yeah. Right? And so not everyone gets it. Couple of people they have, because they kind of have chances to get to that level.
Yeah.
And like to, because again, jiu-jitsu ain't cheap. We know that.
Right.
It's like it does to compete, to travel and stuff like that. It all costs money, the hotel, the plane, tickets, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so thankfully for me, I've kind of cemented myself as someone who's like, with people who want to sponsor, like, oh, they're looking at this guy. Yeah. Right. So you kind of have to cement yourself on top to be, entertaining. People want to watch you.
Yes.
If you get people to watch you, sponsors are gonna want to like, hey, you got all these people watching you. Yep. Like you want advertise us, we're gonna give you this in return.
Yeah, and it's people today. I think there's a lot of like instant gratification that people are looking for. That hey, I won nationals as a blue belt, so I think I should be someone should be calling me, but it isn't built there. I think what you said in the beginning of the podcast when you were saying that you and your brother are training at 6 a.m. going to school and then training, for 2.5 hours in the evening. That's where the sponsorships are built. Because if you don't work hard, I guarantee it's never going to happen for you. And if you, even if you work hard, it may not, but you're giving yourself a fighting chance, right?
Yeah. I know. It's like, it's that if you're working hard and you're winning all this stuff, it's like, dang, this guy's beating them. This guy's beating them. Like, wow.
Yeah. Just relentless, right? Yeah.
And so like, I kind of cement myself as someone who's like doing that.
Yeah.
But I always want to do it that I'm winning in a very entertaining way.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to win where it's like we're not really moving. It's a very boring match, stuff like that. I never want to have a boring match. I always want to have a fun, because when it's entertaining, it's going crazy. I'm having fun. I love to have fun in jiu-jitsu, right?
Crowd goes crazy.
Yeah, the crowd goes crazy. Right? It's just the energy. It gets addicting. Yeah. Right? So I kind of want to be a guy. I go out with a mentality. It's like sub or be subbed. Yeah. Right. You're never going to see me just holding down. Yeah.
See, you're making my argument for AJ. He knows how to get people to watch him. All right. Yeah.
So if you guys like that's just what it is. Like whether I win or lose, it's going to be entertaining. Yeah. And so that's what people are going to get people to watch.
That's cool, man.
And that's how it is now, like from what it is, no-gi and gi. Mainly no-gi. That's how like it's getting to the point. Yeah. People want to watch entertaining fights. Yeah. They don't want to see strategic, as much strategic. Like the hardcore jiu-jitsu guys, like we understand that. Yes. But if it's someone who's new to jiu-jitsu, like they're just coming in and they're watching it, they're like, what the heck is happening? Yeah. Like they're not really understanding. So a lot of people now, it's like we want to see submissions, we want to see, movement.
Yeah. Just like the casual fan.
Exactly. Yeah.
The casual fan. Yeah. So that's one thing that I always say, like there's somebody in the jiu-jitsu world that's way smarter than I am, that's trying to figure out how to get that casual fan to watch. And you make it the perfect point, because if the casual fan sees like a flying triangle, they're like, ooh, I don't know what that was, but that looked really cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So that's just what it is. That's just my goal, is to be entertaining.
That's cool, man.
Just be entertaining. That's all it is.
I love it. Yeah, that's cool. So last thing I do in the podcast is I go through a lightning round of questions. Yeah. And there's no wrong answers. Just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? Uh-huh. All right. So name a game show you think you could actually win.
Family Feud.
Family Feud. Nice. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
Pizza. What's the longest you've gone without brushing your teeth?
Probably like 2-3 days.
See, I like honesty. Most people are like, oh, I brush them every day. Bullshit. Nobody does that. All right. So what's your go-to karaoke song? If you absolutely gun to your head.
I've never done karaoke.
Gun to your head.
Karaoke.
Gun to your head. You got to do it.
Shoot, I'm probably gonna go something with Eminem.
All right.
Probably lose yourself.
Lose yourself. I like it.
Probably lose yourself.
All right, we're gonna hold them to that, just folks. Just so you know, we're gonna hold them to it. All right. So a dumb song you actually like, like secretly, you would never play it out loud, but you secretly like this song.
Probably. Oh, no, there's this song. There's like a story of this song. Havana. Dude, my niece and brother, I stayed over, and my niece and brother play that the entire night on replay. And I'm like, dude, what the heck? Like, do you guys like any other song?
That's kind of catchy, though.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you like to sleep in or nap?
Both.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
DC or Marvel?
Ooh, Marvel.
Would you rather travel into the future or back in time?
Back in time.
What is your favorite childhood TV show?
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nice. All right, guys, that's all we got. So before we wrap up, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I only have one social media, just on Instagram.
Okay.
Cisneros_Josh.
Okay.
Just on there. But other than that, no, that's it.
That's it. All right. So listen, everybody, if you please follow Josh, Cisneros _Josh on Instagram, and he's all over YouTube. Check him out on Jiu Jitsu X and BJJ Fanatics. And Josh, man, thank you so much for your time, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.